Really nice. Boy, this is a crowd.
Looking good. Got
What do you guys decide if there's some dinner to do?
know what was going on.
How you doing? That's true.
Quite a crowd. I sure appreciate what you're doing. Taking your valuable time. This must be Debbie's and Dawn's idea.
And Becky's too. We've got lots of surprise people. There's Sandy and stuff.
Yes, I
Good deal. Turn 70 every year. Let's put it together. Becky, you were the other principal in this thing than me. I recently.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations on your job.
I don't know. I feel like I just want to production. Yeah. I'll probably like it.
What's the name of the company?
Daughters.
That's because I play basketball at
Oh, I didn't know his dad was there.
Oops, changed my mind.
He is, he's a cute kid. Well, they're all cute.
Big, they're holy cow.
Jesus.
He's 17.
No.
Don't film me.
17?
You can just say the reception. Look at the back since the problem I'm having.
She's stopping in that present. That's the place, Paul. I'm gonna go to my house and show her, and then she's she'll never find it. She already has the answer. Got it. So.
Lucy's in the
Even
pit.
though we're in their program. We're also let them visit with them.
They forgot to let me on board. I wouldn't I think he's got you out with me, but well, I didn't really prepare anything. I just I want to hear this. Well, Pete and I were talking a little bit about some of the things, the places you took me when I was younger. I remember he was talking about me going into somebody else's room up there at the Hagerman Hilton. Oh yeah. Things like that. In the middle of the night too. But I remember Dad, ever since I was little, he's carried me across the Madison River fishing probably 40 times, being chased by bulls and otters and bears and different things like that. And, I have a real fond memories. And when I was a younger child, he took me everywhere with him. And a lot of his friends I've learned to feel like they're my friends as well, Jerry and Pete and I don't know, I really have a lot of fond memories back then when I was young. And then about 14 to 18, we didn't get along so well. So. I always thought he was a bad guy, so then he forced me to grow up when he kind of talked me into going to be an air traffic controller, which was a real interesting experience. Short one. But I've never really been sorry that I was able to do that and that he talked me into it. I mean, moving away from home and everything forces you to grow up and realize what your character is and everything else. And I really feel like all three of us kids have inherited a lot of his characteristics. Me, I worry about my money constantly, like he, I don't have much, but and now I'm buying new cars like I always used to. I'm buying used ones, and I don't buy them as often. But I don't know. I'm very proud to call him my father, and I think all my sisters, everybody feel that way. And, that's about really all I have to say. Before we get any redder.
I guess it's my turn, according to the program.
Put out the light there, honey.
Poem? Debbie was gracious enough to send me a poem. However, it was written so small, and I'm so old. Not quite as old as Tom, but I had to type it up in something I could read. But if I might, I'd like to just say a couple words about Tom. Tom and I have a relatively similar background. We both grew up, went to South High School. Tom was a couple years ahead of me, and I really didn't know him in high school. We played a few basketball games that Pete Holton and Tom reminds me that they won all, so they didn't even remember it, but I remember it. I guess on the losing side, you always remember you look for revenge. I've never really accomplished that. But anyway, I met Tom real well after the university. We both went to the University of Utah, and he waited a couple years before he went up there, and so we graduated near the same time. In fact, in flight school, I think Tom was in one class ahead of me. Didn't we determine that? I was 56R and you were 56 something. P, QR. That's two classes.
I think there was a Q.
Maybe not. But anyway, Tom's future there went into the. I used to call them the stovepipes, because all they did was really put the needle to it and hold on. Whereas while I trained in those, I went into the larger aircraft where we really learned something. And anyway, after that, we both separated from the service, honorably, I might add. And Tom took a position with the FAA in Albuquerque, and I was lucky enough to get my appointment here in Salt Lake. It was only a year or two later that Tom came up, and I saw him studying one day, like all new recruits do, even though they're transferred in. He was a journeyman, I think. We sort of reacquainted, and I think from that time, our friendship has become more solidified as time goes on, especially when we have, on occasion, seen some of our good buddies go in front of us. But anyway, Tom, you're still young in my heart, and I just want to say a few words then about the airplanes. The training that Tom and I both somewhat acquired in our youth, if I can say 21 or 2 was our youth, is being demonstrated today in the Balkans. The actual aircraft are much more sophisticated, and they're probably much brighter people. But we also flew airplanes, and we talked about this the other morning at breakfast with a fellow that was a Marine pilot that we worked with, Lynn Nielsen, Jerry. And we talked about the malfunctions that took place, and we all had at least one or more of those experiences. I think Tom was saying of the people you joined in gunnery, you were the only one at the table that was left. Is that right?
That's true.
And that happened throughout our career. Today, if you hear of an F-16 going down and they lose the pilot, it's 15, 16 million or whatever it is, and so they're pretty careful about that. But anyway, Tom, his flying experience as well as mine led us into a career that we, in spite of you, Rod, and you, Jerry, I'm proud to say that I spent 35 years of my life in the aviation industry, and I feel very gratified that I did. As Tom knows, I have two brothers that were also military pilots. Anyway, after we both gave up the air traffic, Tom, as you know, being the great family here that you are, he bought himself what I referred to and still refer to as the Flivver. It was a Cessna 182, right, Tom? And I recall one day we were flying up to the farm. You weren't with us, Pete, but we were flying up there, and he was always a good stick and rudder man, but I don't know if he ever really understood the radios. I was in there talking to air traffic control and kind of having a good time and flying along. I looked down up there just north of the Great Salt Lake, and we used to have what was called an oil burner route. They later changed that. It's a low-level bombing run, just like the guys do over in Iraq or wherever they are. And this F-111 was chugging along with smoke going out the back, doing about 600 miles an hour. And I tapped old Tom on the shoulder, and if you know Tom very well, he likes to nap while he's working. So Tom, he sort of bends the airplane over, and he looks out to the right, and he sees this guy chugging along. Geez, he just about put us into a Shondell. If you know what a Shondell is, well, it's a maximum performance climbing turn. And he says he assumed that airplane was going to come up and get us, I guess. A target of opportunity. But anyway, we had a good time. And the most important thing that I can say about the flying part with Tom, as well as many of us, the love of flying never dies. And with that, I'd like to just mention that there was a young RAF pilot named John Gillespie McGee Jr. At about 1940, still a teenager, was flying combat over in the British Isles. And one day, about 30,000 feet up, he actually wrote a poem. This poem has quite a bit feeling in it. I'm really not justified in trying to read this, but I'm going to give it my go. It's entitled High Flight. Oh, I have slipped the surely bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things that you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared, and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along, and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, along delirious burning blue, I've topped the wind-swept heights with easy grace, where never a lark or even an eagle flew. And while the silent lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. The epilogue to that is that Flight Officer McGee was killed a short time later. In 1939 or 40, I'm not sure what that said, 40. After writing this, while serving with the Royal Canadian Air Force. But anyway, I've kind of butchered the poem, but hopefully that'll give you somewhat of an idea. See you next 10 years down the road. We'll go through this again.
That's your turn.
I was going to write a little something so my thoughts would be clear, but ran out of time.
behalf of me and my sisters, I want to thank my dad for extending his love to us. And filling the void that was once in our life. He's gone beyond his duty of a stepdad. Because I know what really makes a family is love. And that's why I'm glad that we all could be here today. It's because I know we all love each other. And it doesn't really matter what title in life we hold, where we are, as long as we have family and we know that we're loved. I know that is the greatest gift of all, and that is the gift that you have given us, and I just want to say thank you. I was also supposed to talk on Grandpa's, and when I was little, I didn't always have a dad around. In fact, our grandpa was someone who we could always count on. He worshipped the ground we walked on. And we worshipped the ground he walked on too. Our children are the same with you, Dad. Raising kids in the 90s, it's scary, and we're all hoping that everyone's kids turn out good and right. No offense, little kids, but we're praying for you always. But you're like our kids' hero. They look up to you. They think you're wonderful. You know, they enjoy every outing with you, and they're like the little Emmer girls. They thought they had the greatest grandpa, and our kids feel the same way. And on behalf of me and my sisters and my sister Becky, we want to let you know that we appreciate you loving our kids and being such a wonderful grandpa to them.
So how do you want to read it?
Go ahead, just read the question and then read it.
Okay. It said one of my first memories with Grandpa, and you know, I couldn't think, it was one of my favorites. I don't know if it was my first. There's a lot of them. And you know, it's funny what you remember. The dumbest things, but they just meant a lot to you. It was when you still owned the Huber property, and we went for a walk, just the two of us. And we went into, I don't remember if they were condos or houses, they were still building them, and we just walked through them. It was just, we thought it was just so fun. I thought it was so cool. I was walking with Grandpa, you know. And I don't know why. I thought that was the coolest day. I had so much fun. And it says what I've learned from Grandpa. And I don't think I've learned only one main thing, but he teaches us every day by example. And I don't know if I could really pinpoint anything specific. I said my favorite place to go with Grandpa, and I don't really know. I think I really miss going to Huber. We had a lot of fun there. We used to play in the creek and just get muddy, and all of my memories are from there. I said if I had to choose one word to describe my grandpa, what would it be, and because? And I would say generous. Grandpa's the most giving person I've ever known. He gives us so much to help the family and everyone. But it's not just his time and his money. He gives from his heart and loves unconditionally.
Yeah.
And we love him so much. And that's one of the funniest memories I had with Grandpa. I remember we went to the West Valley house, and we all walked in, and it was me, Bree, and Jake, and I can't remember if Sean and Candace and we were there, but we walked in, and you were eating the orange peels in your office.
That too?
It was so gross.
Isn't my weird wife?
That's what keeps him slim.
She eats the orange peels.
Remember, we talked about it forever. He's so weird, and he kept trying to get us to eat it, and we tried so hard to like him. I tried it.
Actually, he's Scottish. He just wanted his money worth.
That's all of them.
I'll read it anyway.
That's all right. Hey!
Cherise?
You're not getting off that
What about Candace isn't here? Carly? Okay, she doesn't want to read it. Sean?
I guess I'll read mine. Well, the first memories I can ever remember as Grandpa was Heber. That was the funnest, best place we'd ever went. Always going out for walks, playing in the creek, taking me for rides on his motorcycle all the time. That was the best. I don't think I'd ever forget Heber and Grandpa. Them are the best times that I've ever had in my life. What I learned from Grandpa, I don't know. Mostly everything I ever really liked was farming. He loves to farm. Learned how to grow crops, stuff like that. No matter what we did, we always went up to the farm. That's his thing. We always went pheasant hunting. Loved to hunt pheasant. Cook 'em. I don't know, Grandpa, he's one of a kind. Special man, we all love him dearly. My favorite place to go with Grandpa was Idaho. Idaho was a lot of fun. Always going out, working on the farm, picking up potatoes, picking the corn.
Sounds like great fun.
Getting lost in the cornfields. It was way fun. That and Lake Powell. I think that was our best time was Lake Powell. If I had to choose a word to describe my grandpa, it would be perfect. He's everything you could want in a grandpa.
John, I had a grandpa like that. I believe you.
Grandpa, he's there through thick and thin. You need him or not, he's there for you. Grandpa's always there on your shoulder. He's always there to help you up when you're down. And the funniest time I ever have memories of Grandpa is when we were all in Lake Powell. Out on the boat, going water skiing. That's to me, that, I don't know, that's when I saw Grandpa the most relaxed and having fun in his life. And I love you. Happy birthday.
I'm only going to read one thing. One of my funnest memories I had with Grandpa is the times me and Grandpa drove the four-wheeler together, and he showed me an eagle off a peak, and we went on top of the peak and we were looking down, and he showed me some fish in the river and stuff. And it was fun.
Great.
I am in very good
She don't work very much.
Eric.
You gave this to Grandpa.
Victor, you're not getting out of it. You're reading them all.
Okay.
That's okay.
One of my first memories with Grandpa is when me and Ashley used to fly down here and go up to the Alpine Slides, and they let us go to the lagoon and stuff. Some of the things I've learned from Grandpa, taught me how to shoot a basketball better, and taught me that good money comes from hard work, different things he's done. Favorite place to go with Grandpa is up to his farm, working in the fields and stuff. If I had to choose one word to describe Grandpa, it would be wise, because he always does the things that benefit him and those around him. One of the funniest memories would probably be when we used to go up to the Alpine Slides, and Grandpa and Ashley go down on one, and they'd be down at the bottom, and I'd be like halfway up on the hill because I was too scared to go down fast. And they didn't let me live it down, so happy birthday.
Okay, one of my first memories of Grandpa was
when I lived in California, and me, Victor, and Grandpa went to Carl's Jr. and we ate there, and then we walked around Mission Viejo Lake together. And what I've learned from Grandpa is that I learned that no matter what, he's always beside me, and I can do anything that I want if I really want it. And I learned that if we do good in school, it'll always help us in the end. And my favorite place to go with Grandpa was at the farm, and he always made sure that me and Victor had fun, although we had to move the pipes.
No fun.
That was fun.
If I had to choose one word to describe him, it'd be intelligent. I really look up to Grandpa, and he knows so much. If I have a question, it's answered. If I don't understand something fully, I will have to explain it. One of the funniest memories I have was going up to the Alpine slides, and me and Grandpa would always go down together, and he'd be screaming like a little kid. Have a great day.
Let him get that Lindsay's first.
Brittany, you're older.
One of my first memories with Grandpa was when we first came to Utah, and we went to his house, and I saw him, and he said hi, and he gave me a hug and a kiss, and then he brought me to our house and showed us around. And what I've learned from Grandpa is you should always love your relatives no matter what happens, that you're always special in your own way, and to always keep your house clean, and to never forget to do the dishes, because that keeps your things clean. My favorite place to go with Grandpa is Tuckerama, because we can spend time together and get a lot of food, and the farm because you can have so much fun up there, and he taught us how to pick potatoes, and then he got us every kind of food that we wanted. And then if I had to choose one word to describe my grandpa, it would be the best, because he's nice, fun, fantastic at everything, and he's got style, and that's what makes him the best. One of the funniest memories I've had with Grandpa was when we went out to the farm and Grandpa came in to tuck us in and said he'd give us a hug and a kiss goodnight, and came and puckered at me. And I kind of just stood there for a minute because I'd never seen him pucker before. And then I got out of my chance and I kissed One of my first memories with Grandpa is when we first moved here, and Grandpa pointed and said, your school's just around the corner, so you don't have to walk far. And then what I've learned from Grandpa is that not to get scared for people to die, you know, and that the best place to eat is Chuckarama. Okay, my favorite place to go with Grandpa is to his house so I can spend time with him. And if I had to choose one word to describe Grandpa, it would be fantastic, because he's the most fantastic grandpa in the world. And one of my funniest memories with him, I just thought this was funny. When we went up to see great grandma, and all of a sudden she was saying, "Dickie, Dickie, I'm falling," and Grandpa just sat there and he goes, "Get her, Jesse." And Grandma was practically falling off the bed. And then finally Grandpa got up and got her. And I thought it was funny because we went through all that trouble, and she goes, "All I would have done is fell on the floor," and she wasn't really scared or anything. Great Grandma.
Okay, Bronny.
One of the first memories with Grandpa, when we went over to see your pine, when we first pulled up to the gate, we said,
handed in, forget it.
When we first pulled up to the gate, we said, "Open sesame," and the gate opened. And we drove up, and Grandpa unlocked the door, and we got to see his plane and go in it. What I learned from Grandpa: to always be nice, not to be scared when you're alone, not to be scared of bugs, to be responsible, and to have fun. My favorite place to go with Grandpa is Idaho, because we get to play on the farm. We got to spend more time with you. We got to go swimming. We got to go to golf, and it is so quiet up there. And if I had to choose one word to describe my grandpa, it would be nice, because he is so nice to us, and he is fun to be around. You can play with him when he is in Idaho. I still love him wherever he is. One of the funniest memories I had with Grandpa is when we watched the Jazz games. He always cheers for the Jazz and boos for the other team. And sometimes he yells at the people that on the Jazz that do stupid things.
Turn around, my dad wants to get you. Oh gosh. Okay, one of my first memories with Grandpa is when he got me my first putter. And
there's another camera over there too.
what I learned from Grandpa is if you want a good job, you have to get good grades. And my favorite place to go with Grandpa is the driving range and the Idaho, and to go look at some planes. And if I had to choose one word to describe my grandpa, it'd be fun, because he does a lot with me. And one of the funnest memories I have with Grandpa is when me and Boz were going up to Idaho. We'd be in the car for a long time, and we thought we'd never get out, and he took us out of the car, and he got in the back of the trunk and got his rifle, and we started shooting, and then we got to shoot a can, and then we thought we'd never get out again when we were in the car, and then he got out and got his clubs, and we got to pick off.
One of my first memories of Grandpa is when we went up to the park with airplanes. Bryce, Eric, Tyler, and me were able to look inside them since Grandpa was so tall. He lifted us in to see that inside the airplane. What I learned from Grandpa is to get a really good job is get a really good education. My favorite place to go with Grandpa is Idaho, because we get to see the cows, go and hold the pheasants. We got to ride the tractor and go to this park where huge waterfalls are. If I had to choose one word to describe my grandpa, it would be lovable, because he always gives me hugs and kisses. One of the funnest memories I've had with Grandpa is when we were driving up in Idaho and Grandpa ran over a skunk, and we thought he was the one that was the stinky one.
We just want to thank everyone who participated on the program, and I want to thank Ron and Pam for this wonderfully complete with Dad. You guys went a bit here, so I want to thank you guys for going out of your way and driving so far to get here. Sorry about the address. And you know, if you want to move some of the chairs out to people
I want to see Dad pucker first. I haven't seen Let's practice for that. Sounds like you had slave lady.
It was great.
Well, until he sold the heat on the property. So you're going to have to buy that back. I'm not ready to push out. Now.
We got the back of you.
I had a lot of memories.
Mom, turn around.
Everything that I've ever done.
Mom, turn around one more time.
Mom, turn around one more time.
I got a bag.
Why?
What's that? I got a bag actually. When you see hurricanes and stuff.